Welcome back to the show, everybody. We got a great one for you this morning. Let's hear some of these headlines here. Argentina attempts to halt devaluation of their own currency while they chase down who's actually buying and selling cryptocurrency in their country. Is Tesla and Elon Musk dumping Bitcoin? Uh-oh. Looks like trouble. MoneyTap, SBI's MoneyTap has some new news, and you're going to want to hear it. And Ripple is hiring for a new position, and I find it to be very revealing, and I think it's very good for us. I think you will like it. Let's get clear on the Ripple case, okay? Let's drill down on that. There's been a lot of memorandums of understanding going out, the responses to that, and motions filed, and this, that, and the other. Let's go ahead and get clear on that. XRP holders are going to be heard by Garen Gensler. Let's get clear on that. We're going to go into that business. And BTC dominance, how much longer will it remain? What will it take for BTC to be flipped in market cap? And what happens to the rest of the price of BTC should that day come? And I think at some point it will. And we can't talk about that without talking about where XRP is right now. And as far as one analyst is concerned, it is a ticking time bomb for a new all-time high. Let's roll that beautiful intro.
This is Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Subscribe for new content notifications. Now, here's Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show, everybody. You can follow me on Twitter at BackupBradleyAbove and everything that we're talking about here. Let's go ahead and get into this $2.1 trillion market cap. There's a lot of money that's missing here. We've been as high as $2.5 trillion plus. So a lot of money could come back into this space very, very quickly. Right? Another 300, 400 million should be back in this space just to be where we've been, in our all-time high for the cryptocurrency collectively. Looking at Bitcoin, 44,000 plus right now and bleeding pretty heavily at the moment. We're going to talk about some news that may have had effect on that. And we see that the whole market's been hit a little bit here. Now, Ethereum at 3,400 plus, and we see Bitcoin off by 22 plus % on 7-day. Ethereum off by 16% now on the 7-day. Cardano here is off by almost 10% on the 24-hour, but still up 22.7 at $2.12, experiencing a new all-time high over the weekend. XRP at the number 7 spot, courtesy of the dereliction of duty of the SEC and intimidation tactics. We are at $1.51 this morning, and it's a very important thing to note here. We're off by 1.58% on the 24-hour and 2.36 on the 7-day. Let's look at the range right now. So we're ranging between 133.17 and 155.98 on the top. Sitting at 152.5 right now. Just take a look at this bottom number, 133.17. Remember, we talked about that. That number is going to be important here in a second. Let's look at the news. Hall of Famer XRP Crypto Wolf is in the house. He says Argentina has taken steps in recent months to regulate the crypto industry as Argentina attempts to halt the devaluation of its own national currency. The government authorities have decided to clamp down on cryptocurrency users. You are on the radar, Argentina. Be careful. Make sure you know what you hold, know what you're doing over there, because they want to know what's going on with everybody who's buying, selling crypto. And I tell you something, this is something that has been a narrative around the globe. So it isn't just Argentina. They've done it here. Coinbase has coughed up their customer list. Kraken's coughed up their customer list. You better know it's going to happen. Billionaire Mark Cuban is more bullish than ever on cryptocurrency's adoption and utility. Mark Cuban says cryptocurrency prices increasingly reflect real demand. Mark is bullish on DAO participation, digital autonomous organization participation networks with real usage and mass adoption on the horizon. Well, hang in there, Mark. XRPLedger's been here for quite a while. I have a feeling it will be making the stage shortly. Looking here, Bitcoin dumps after Elon Musk hints that Tesla has sold or may sell all its Bitcoin holdings. What are you up to, Elon Musk? What are you up to? And I mean, this gets very interesting that one man and one company could really affect price in the manner that's happening here. We'll see what goes on. Now MoneyTap, which runs on Ripple, is launching PayB, which will read barcodes and pay directly from SBI submission net bank accounts linked through MoneyTap. More later, not XRP based, but an attractive service using Ripple. Thank you to Ratha Kahneman there for the distinction in the between Ripple and XRP, which is important to note. But I will say, keep your chin up when it comes to XRP, because here it is right here. Ripple is hiring a senior front-end engineer for RippleX. Ripple senior front-end engineer will prototype new use case and new user experiences relating to NFTs, which I happen to love, and CBDCs, which I think we all know what that means. That's central bank digital currencies, baby, and the XRP-Ledger. So even though we do see good news where it actually addresses and separates, rightfully so, that this is about Ripple software and not XRP at this juncture, which is great. What do we know on the back end? We know that Ripple is continually hiring for people to have understanding of central bank digital currencies, which is the government dollars of the world being digitized and put on a private ledger on the XRP ledger. That's what that means. And we're hiring for somebody who has experience or has experience relating to these things. Now, that is a small pool to choose from, I can tell you that. But one thing I do know is that it's all about the XRP ledger now, isn't it? Ultimately, at the end of the day, everything runs on the ledger, even the government dollars of the world. We already know Ripple's piloting a private ledger built off of the XRP ledger open source technology. That is enormous for us, even if it is a private ledger. It's enormous for us. Write it down. Ripple's non-privileged internal communications about XRP are discoverable just as the SECs are, and Ripple has not resisted producing such communications, but none of that puts legal advice that Ripple received at issue in this case. Now, this is interesting, and we should take a look at this. There's been a lot that's going on. Let me see if I can move through this pretty quickly here. So, after exchanging a few memorandums and law over the past few days, Ripple's legal battle with the U.S. Securities Exchange Commission is threatening to go on for more weeks and months. As far as XRP is concerned, the crypto at the center of the lawsuit has simultaneously, not fared well lately, subjecting itself to 16% decline in the past week alone. SEC had recently requested informal conferences to discuss all legal advice that Ripple has sought in the past. This agency is asking the court to compel defendants to produce all relevant documents. By doing so, the SEC intends to litmus check whether or not Ripple's offers and sales of XRP were in compliance with federal securities laws. The SEC also asserted that it was within the rights to call for the same. At the time, the regulatory watchdog had offered two bases for its extraordinary request. However, in the response letter, Ripple Labs has now asserted that neither of them had merit on the SEC's argument and is wrong on both law and the facts. The defendant firm claimed that the purported selective disclosures that the SEC relied on were all made outside of context of the lawsuit. Ripple further asserted that the relating matters that weren't disclosed would remain confidential, adding that it had not done anything to inject the already waived communications back into the lawsuit. The SEC had alternatively argued the Ripple had put the legal advice it received at issue, asserting the firm reasonably understood the federal securities law did not apply to its offers and sales of XRP and hence waived privilege over the advice it received. Ripple in turn argued that the SEC argument misstated the facts of the case. Ripple's defense in the applicable law, the defendant letter went on to say the SEC attempts to brush off the fact that it's partly attempting to put legal advice at issue by pointing instead to Ripple's affirmative defense of fair notice, which the SEC argues waives privileges because Ripple allegedly received adequate notice from its lawyers. This misstates the law both as to privilege waiver and as to fair notice. And then it goes on to say Ripple non-privileged internal communications about XRP are discoverable just as the SEC's are, and Ripple has not resisted in producing those communications, but none of that puts legal advice that Ripple received at issue in this case. Whether Ripple subjectively believed that its actions were lawful or unlawful doesn't matter. There's no legal basis for the SEC to extort information, the defendants concluded, with the blockchain firm going on to submit. Contrary to the SEC's assertion, Ripple has not attempted to artfully plead a good faith defense. There is no basis to grant the SEC's request to order Ripple to produce privileged communications beyond those it disclosed 6 years ago outside of litigation. I just wanted to go over that to get everybody level set This is where we are. We're caught up here, right? So then we're waiting to find out what goes on with the rest of this case and how we move forward. I do want to remind people that Jeremy Hogan from Legal Briefs, who is absolutely incredible, has really put it on the table and said that if we're going to see a settlement, it'll be in the next 2 weeks. Not that we won't see it down the road, but if Gary Gensler is not going to pick this case up from running the SEC, we'll see a settlement within the next 2 weeks. If he decides to take up this case now that he is at the SEC, this could go on into September or maybe even a little further. So that's something we should be aware of and paying attention to. And so is this. This is incredible. And I tell you something. Shout out to each and every one of you XRP holders out here. This is just a group of people, men and women, who really, I mean, bar none, are different than any other token I've ever paid attention to or followed or researched. It's just remarkable to me. The XRP Holders Change Petition, which I participated in and signed, that urges the SEC to drop the Ripple lawsuit and investigate Jay Clayton, has obtained 30,000 signatures and will be submitted to Gary Gensler. I know a lot of people don't want to see the lawsuit dropped at this point. They'd like to go on and see a final judgment made in the case so we can finally get the clarity on what XRP is. And believe me, I would love to have that too. However, I also believe there's another path we could go, is where the U.S. Treasury could step in if the case was dropped and really eminent domain the XRP and then use it and build a government consortium or a global consortium that all the countries and central banks and governments around the world would have a seat at the table about what happens to the rest of the escrow as it goes forward. And it could remain on the escrow schedule release that it currently is. And I think something eventually unfolds, maybe pretty close to that. If it's not that, maybe it rhymes with it, right? So we'll keep an eye on it. Here we see since all-time high April 14th, Bitcoin has corrected 35%, making this the fifth largest correction of the current market cycle. Things are now in danger of heading into a full bear market if Bitcoin fails to hold above 40K. Say it isn't so. But would it go into the bear market again? Or would we actually see use case utility become the new watermark for the first time of this cryptocurrency space? We are that young, you know. We don't have use case driving the space. What we have driving the space is Bitcoin, and Bitcoin is brand awareness, not use case. So, and by the way, if you think sending 1.3 Bitcoin from one platform to another platform and getting charged over $4,000 for those transactions is actually intrinsic value because you can move value, you can keep it. Because that is expensive. And I'll be damned if that's a solution at my house. And it's even worse if you're trying to make the case for somebody who's underbanked or unbanked, right? Because then you're talking about people usually in areas of the world that don't really have an economy. They don't really have a lot of money. And you're going to hit them hard on that kind of a transaction. That is not a solution, Meg. So moving on here, I want to remind people where we are. You know, we did talk about that range, ladies and gentlemen. Remember I said pay attention to that bottom number 133. Because that's how low we've dipped right now. Well, the reason I said that is because of Crypto Wizards. Shout out to Billy and Martin. They have a paid group if you're interested. None of what we say, they say, is financial advice on this channel or anywhere else. But the truth is that these gentlemen and many, many others like Coins Kid and Dark Defender and so many others have been doing a great job. And they're hitting it again. They're saying, well, the lock is off. The key has been used. Soon we will see a parabolic move on XRP to BTC and the bull run I've been calling since December 2020, with my bias not changing one bit. Once Bitcoin finds support, it's time. Get ready. You deserve it, XRP. And that's going to do it for me. And that's why I told you, pay attention to this number, because the number he gave into Bitcoin to XRP is 0.000029, which is converting to $1.31, which means we are ranging, even in the lowest end, 2 cents above the firing line. Maybe we are about to see liftoff just as soon as Bitcoin finds its support too. Hit the like and subscribe. Leave a comment below. This is unbelievable. This is crypto. You never know. Head on a swivel out here. Make sure you check out all the links in the description box and the comment section. By the way, PureVPN is one of the many different layers of protection I use to hide my anonymity online. Make sure you protect yourself and check out all the links in the description box and the comment section. They are trusted, vetted links. I'll catch all of you on the next one.